So, season 4, I think, is the only season that you could argue is just as good or maybe even better than season 1.
I agree.
Yeah.
Season 4 has so much spectacle, so much tension, and like genuine, like amazing character moments.
Yes.
I just
agree.
I'm so excited to
love,
talk about this
like,
season.
binging this series. Like, I was watching it, and season 4 happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, how did they come up with this?
I
So
sorry, I
yeah.
interrupted you. But
Okay, so in terms of new characters, there's quite a few of them, but the one that I will focus on right now is Vecna, of course. Vecna not only brings back the concept of the Upside Down, but also expands the lore behind Eleven and where her powers came from, how she feels about having powers, and that all stems from him in a really cool way. And after having season 3 where we didn't go into the Upside Down at all, we discovered that it is now safe for humans to walk into the Upside Down without gas masks for some reason.
I genuinely think it was like we just do not want to make this a story issue every single time.
That's my thought too. It's just, I think it was better when the Upside Down was toxic. But
why was it toxic in the context of season 5? Do we ever?
It's like all the spores in the air. It was just like
something like
Apparently
that.
the spores got bored or something, and
yeah. And so in season 4 we have 4 plot lines. The first is Eleven and what she's going through. The second is Hawkins, the mystery of Vecna, trying to hunt him down and trying to figure out how all these crazy, gruesome murders are happening. Third is Road Trip movie.
Lenora. The Lenora plotline.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a sec. And the fourth is the Hopper and the Gulag. I'm going to talk about these least favorite to most favorite. First is, I'm going to be honest, Hopper and the Gulag. I really think it just wastes time.
thank you.
I kind of agree.
I kind of Hopper.
No.
I think Hopper had a perfect end in season 3. I honestly think Hopper.
Oh my gosh!
Bringing him back. The only reason they bring him back is to give Joyce something to do.
No.
And
Thank you.
I do like that Joyce takes the initiative to go to Russia to find Hopper. I do like that they give her that because it's something different than the last 2 seasons for Joyce. So I do like that Joyce goes on this like little side quest, but then you just cut to Hopper in this prison and he's just sitting around and they're like he's planning his escape. He's talking to this random Russian dude.
He's a good character.
Elliot, I do think actually Hopper is a better character in this season. I guess.
Yes.
Right? It's just I feel like everything else surrounding Hopper in Russia is kind of a drag. I think Joyce and Murray is a drag to watch. Them going to Russia, the back and forth between them and Yuri betraying them, then Yuri saying I'm sorry, and then Yuri betraying them, and then Yuri saying I'm sorry.
This is my second favorite plotline, I think.
Well, okay. I agree with what you guys are saying. I think it is a bit of a waste of time. I think Hopper should have just
waste
died.
of time is extremely harsh.
I will say there are good scenes in it, which is why I would personally rank this plotline above the Mike
Lenora
Will road trip one, because I think like the scene where Hopper's saying like I'm cursed. You know, everything that I've ever done has just been like
I love
a detriment to people around. That's a great scene.
That's huge.
Any good character moments with Hopper in there is great.
I need you all to clarify. Hold on. Are you all saying that it is too long or that it should have not happened? Because I'm getting the impression you don't think it should have happened, which I think is insane.
No.
I just wish there was a better way for them to execute Hopper's redemption, I guess. It just feels like there's a lot of stuff surrounding the Russia stuff that makes it kind of hard.
I think it could be cut down for sure. And I think as far as plot things go, it is wildly similar with the finding the Russian base. I think like getting into the Russian camp is equally, if not more, no, it's not more absurd, but it's pretty absurd still. But I think the character moments are very important, and I think we could have cut out some of those outlying things.
I think there's just a little too much of it for my liking.
Of what?
Of just like Hopper in the Gulag, and
no. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's it's too long.
I generally don't think the Hopper and the Gulag parts are the hard parts. Because if you
I like those.
And I watched them, I think I would have enjoyed it. I think what really started to drag when it's like Joyce and Murray putting together this mystery, then Joyce and Murray flying to Alaska, and then Joyce and Murray flying from Alaska to Russia, and then them getting into the prison, and then them getting out of the prison, and then them going back.
The Hopper moments are good. I need to make sure y'all ain't dissing Hopper.
Don't worry, we like Hopper.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Regan? Though
the big thing in that plotline, Ezra mentioned it, is Yuri. Like, that character is so insufferable to me. His constant like back and forth and backstabbing, like I could not get behind it. And they like build up to this. It's supposed to be like a exciting climactic moment where he finally like decides to, fix the helicopter and go rescue the people in the Gulag. Like, I really don't like it because I just don't see anything with his character that's interesting at all, and that specifically doesn't work for me.
That wasn't his guard friend though, right? Like Dimitri.
Not the guard.
I like
Dimitri.
I love Dimitri.
Yeah, Dimitri's all right. Dimitri's cool.
He's a chilla.
Fun fact. Back in the day, my dad, I promise this ties into Stranger Things. My dad used to sell computers and like do computers, and he was in business with a guy in Russia named named Yuri, and his name was Yuri from Russia. And apparently Yuri was actually a really slimy guy, and the FBI like showed up to our house one day and everything.
Whoa!
So don't do business with Russia, kids.
Especially if their name is Yuri.
Especially if his name is Yuri.
All right, and then, okay, so I should mention too, like I said, least favorite to most favorite, but I think the last two plot lines are kind of tied in my mind. The other one, the Lenora road trip with Will, Mike, Jonathan, and their stupid stoner friend that does not need to be there.
And Susie.
I hate Argyle.
This is the worst one.
I think Argyle's the worst side character they've ever introduced in the show. He has zero plot relevance. And all he does is speak in a weird voice and smoke weed.
And make Jonathan a worse character.
Make Jonathan. Can we talk about Jonathan's character?
Hold on.
Yeah, let him cook.
Argyle doesn't need to be there. The other thing is that I think they were building up to something in season 4, and I really think it should have been in season 4, and that was Will coming out. I truly believe, and the Duffer Brothers even said this, the scene in the van where he like shows what the painting is and talks with Mike, that was originally the scene where they were going to have Will come out, and I actually think it would have been a better spot for him to do so.
Yeah.
Because they spend a little too much time on it.
Put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. Give that dynamic more room to grow in season 5 instead of lingering on the residue.
We'll talk about season 5 later.
And because Will, if you take that out, if you take Will not coming out in season 4, Will has nothing to do, like absolutely nothing to do in season 4. Mm-hmm. And so while the scene in the van is sweet, it just has not really any impact on his character or Mike. And after you like see him crying and Jonathan's like looking back, and you can tell Jonathan knows
Great memes.
Jonathan knows what Will wanted to say. We all know what Will wanted to say. Like, he should have just come out and said it.
Yeah.
So yeah, another like big waste of time plot line. So yeah, jumping to the next one.
Did bro actually like season 4?
Yeah, no, I love season 4.
I love season 4. Half
I
the
love
plot lines were a waste of time.
I love season 4 because the other two plot lines are incredible. Levin's storyline, going to the Nina project, bringing back Brenner, and Owens. I think Brenner. Yeah, Owens is great, but I think Brenner is amazing in this season.
Chapu chapu.
It gives so much context to how he feels about the project and how he like feels about the children and how he like genuinely cares for them, which is really weird. Like the scene where Eleven is yelling at him and calling him a monster and he starts crying. I was genuinely like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Who is this man? I really like how they use the fact that she doesn't remember what happened to One and what she did to him as a way to like build up Vecna's story and like peel back the layers and show what like really happened. And I think it's a really cool way to connect to the other awesome plotline, which is Hawkins, everything that's happening in Hawkins.
Yes.
Because I will mention this. The timeline of Stranger Things. This is where it really starts to show the cracks because they expect us to believe that season 4 takes place 8 months after the end of season 3, and I just don't see it. Everyone has hit their growth spurt. Everyone's voices is deeper. They all look like they should be in high school by now and not junior high.
They are in high school.
Or middle school.
They are in high school.
They're freshmen in high school, but they should be like sophomores.
Seniors. Yeah.
Yeah. Like they look old enough to be at least juniors. And I just don't buy the timeline at this point. But the Hawkins stuff is truly where the characters shine. Max is one of my top 5 favorite characters, and it's because of season 4 and what Vecna does to her and how much you get to understand. Like her dynamic with Billy is fleshed out better in this season than it was in season 3, and everything that she's going through. Lucas is one of the best characters in this season because they separate him from the D&D group, and we learn it was his choice. And I really like how he like has to come to terms with what he wants and what he actually like feels like he needs with his friends. Dustin,
he has to play basketball. He's like,
yeah,
he doesn't understand. I'm one of the black kids in Hawkins. They need me.
They need me.
They need me on the basketball team.
Dustin gets out of his "Do you copy" radio person, and he gets to be more of what he grows to become in season 5. Which
does he grow in season 5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the few characters that does.
Yeah. Dustin does grow in season 5, and it's because of what they do with him in season 4. I think that's possible. Because
we didn't even talk about Susie in season 3.
I know, I spaced Susie.
Brick Neverending Story song. That is my favorite movie of the 80s, and that...
Okay.
That's one of my favorite bits.
Oh wait, are you joking?
I track a little.
Are you serious or are you joking?
Never-ending story part, but we'll get back to it.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
We have to leave that behind. But I hate you. Keep going.
I know.
And so we get the new side character Eddie, and Eddie really brings a lot out of a lot of the characters in season 4.
Can we get a better introduction from you? Just named the best character in the show, and we got and we have Eddie. He's cool.
Eddie. Hey,
guys, we get Eddie freaking Munson, the metalhead himself.
Eddie Munson, the leader of the Hellfire Club.
Yes,
the player,
yes,
the rock out metalhead. Eddie brings out a lot, as I said, of what the characters feel in season 4. Because you get this impression that he's a rebel. He really doesn't like the norm. He wants to change things in Hawkins. And then when he witnesses the death of Chrissy, it kind of switches up his character a little bit, and you realize that it's not completely a front what he was putting out in high school. It's a little bit of a front, and he's not actually really sure what he wants to do with his life after Hawkins. And so, his lingering regret for not being able to help Chrissy and his desire to be that hero in Dustin's eyes is really one of the great things you can latch onto in the Hawkins plotline. I just really like it. And it also yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying it's also the birth of a beautiful meme. Chrissy, wake up. I don't like this. For anyone who was around at 22, I wasn't even watching the show, and I still got hit with that meme.
Yeah. And then that also opens up like the interesting thing with Steve. And what he goes through in season 4, because Dustin's looking to Eddie, and so Steve is kind of left behind in the dust, pun intended. And so Steve has to turn to somebody, and so he turns to Nancy. And so we get a little bit more of like the complications in Nancy and Jonathan's dynamic, or the lack of it in season 4. And I do think that was on purpose. I think the fact that Jonathan and Nancy don't interact at all in season 4 kind of just shows why that relationship doesn't work, but also shows why Steve and Nancy wouldn't have worked as well, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, I think season 3 shows why Nancy and Jonathan don't work, and season 4 does a good job of showing why Steve and Nancy shouldn't work.
Yeah, and then Robin is also there. So those are kind of the characters in season 4. And I actually, to go back to Dr. Owens, I do like his arc in seasons 2 and 4, because in season 2 you kind of see he's kind of going along with what the government wants.
He's in 3 too.
He does show up in 3 for a little bit, yeah. But in season 2, you kind of understand in season 2 that Dr. Owens, he's doing his job, but he does like care about what happens to Hawkins, and what happens at the end of season 2 kind of changes his mind, and he's like, oh shoot, something really has to like change. It's something we need to helping these people in Hawkins. And so season 4 is kind of the payoff to that. Like, he wants to help Eleven, and he genuinely cares for what happens to her, and wants to help her get out of this. But because Brenner is there, it just can't be that way. And then we have the evil army people who's like, they just want to kill Eleven, and they don't think
this is where it starts.
They don't think for some reason they don't believe Vecna exists, and they think all the murders in Hawkins are because of 11, which is really stupid. Like,
wild.
It's wild, because it kind of just shows how weak the government and military plotline is, especially in season 4 and 5, because as the Kids in Hawkins proves, if you looked at it with even the slightest bit of clarity, you could find out that Vecna was behind it all.
Yeah.
But
David,
go ahead, Reagan.
No, go ahead.
Okay. You kind of touched on this, but I think the best single thing that season 4 does is Vecna, because up to this point, it's just been kind of like this hypothetical villain. It's more of like an entity than an actual figure that you can latch onto as being the villainous figure. And Vecna, well, yeah, but it's just like a monster, you know. It's just like, oh, this evil monster. With Vecna,
give it a little more credit.
It's like an actual human being that can act evil, that we can see being maniacal and everything, and has like an actual villainous presence. And I like the Mind Flayer. I think it's a cool concept, but like having Vecna there really just like makes it a lot more real, the villainous side of Stranger Things for me. And then also shout out Kate Bush. That's my other favorite thing about season 4.
Yeah,
is the Kate Bush stuff. So I love Kate Bush
until the fans beat it into the ground mercilessly.
Yeah.
And then the show beat it into the ground mercilessly.
And then the show proceeded to beat it into the ground mercilessly.
I want to bring up another side character that wasn't mentioned, and I think he was written as a one-dimensional character, but transcends the writing. That is Jason. I think
it was Todd Jason.
I think everything he does makes sense, and personally, I do not think he does anything wrong. Like, from the...
Let's not go that far.
Think about it this way. It is highly logical. It is highly logical where he's coming from. Given the fact we understand he is like an a-hole. We understand he's a mean person. But you have to think about it this way. His girlfriend, mercilessly murdered.
Before that though, he is raised by hyper-religious parents. Like, incredibly religious.
Okay, yeah, I'm not saying that he's not a good character.
No, I think based on how he was raised and what he did, I think it makes complete sense. And when he walks into Lucas, he doesn't he gives him every opportunity, I think, and Lucas to explain himself. And Lucas, not because it is a hard topic, is unable to explain what is going on, because obviously to any outsider it wouldn't make any sense. So everything that Jason is given, I think he does anything any of us would do, probably.
Yeah, I think the
wait, Ezra, keep going though. Right? Did you? Ezra's looking at me mad.
No, I think it's pretty reasonable. I wouldn't say that I would try to go find and kill someone. If that happened, I would say they have to make him a little villainous and stuff like that. But I do think they do a pretty good job of you being able to track his logical, I guess, line of thinking of what he does. And it's funny because people just have this huge affinity for Eddie. They really like Eddie Munson and they think he's great. I also think it's important to remember that... What was that? I think it's important to remember that Eddie is also a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah.
Eddie... There's reasons for people to be wary of who Eddie is. Because he's selling, freaking crack to their children. And so, yeah, I would agree with Elliot on that point for the most bit, yeah.
Sorry, Regan, I cut you off too.
Oh, you're good. I think the word I would use to describe Jason is frustrating. He's necessary. He's a necessary obstacle to the characters, but I like watching him spiral and try to rally the town against Eddie. It was like, oh my gosh, this kid needs to chill. It gave me strong Bobby Briggs vibes from Twin Peaks. Jason feels like a worse version of Bobby in a good way.
I love Bobby.
But
peak TV show.
But I do like what he brings out in Lucas, especially because it does strengthen Lucas as a character, and I love the moment at the end where he and Jason are fighting, and Lucas is like, "I should have never knocked on your door," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's incredible!" That was a really cool little revelation for how their dynamic started that I really liked, and I'm a little biased because Lucas is one of my favorite characters too, so.
Yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
Can I touch on a point really quick? Elliot kind of brought this up when we were talking about season 3, but there's a disconnect between the regular people of Hawkins and the squad, where all these horrible things are happening, and it seems like for the most part in most of the seasons, the rest of Hawkins doesn't really care too much. I like that in season 4, the community gets more involved.
Hawkins and people is a character.
Yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, the gates of hell are opening up on Hawkins.
Buffy.
Satan himself is coming to town. And I like that they bring Hawkins into it. And they dropped the ball with that in season 5. They did not involve Hawkins at all. Like there's no like common Hawkins person that gets involved, despite the fact that the end of season 4 is literally the gates of hell opening up on Hawkins, and it's like in season 5 everybody's just like, okay, back to normal, like everything's okay. So that was an aspect of season 4 I really liked.
Yeah, one thing that I feel like we do need to mention really quick as well, in a bit of lore with the Vecna stuff, is that in season 4 we get our first glimpse of the Abyss, the other world, which we can talk about more in season 5. But when I saw that like binging this and seeing that, I was like, oh my gosh, are we gonna? We're getting like a completely new world. This is exciting. So I will say that the lore builds up in a way that left me excited to see what was going to happen.
Yeah.
At the time.
I made this a mention that in season 3, one of my favorite characters is introduced for one season and one season only, and that's Robin. They egregiously, I do not know what they did to her, but they took her out back and shot her and replaced her with a skinwalker. Because Robin's character is
out to pasture, bro.
It's just like, feels like a coked out, hyperactive, lesbian, ADHD, 5th grader. Like, that's all she is. That is her entire character. And I will say, here's something I think is important with season 4, is I think the Duffers mishandle most of the characters in season 4. When you observe each of those characters, they work more as a group who symbolizes one version of like a weird amalgamous character. But you think about Will in season 4, he's, I don't know, Will hasn't done anything useful since season.
Well, I think that whole plot line, anyone in that plot line is mistreated, especially Mike.
Useless. They are useless.
Cut out that whole road trip part of season 4 and a good chunk of like the Hopper stuff, and I think season 4 would be my favorite season. The Rusher stuff.
But they do that with so many characters. Like freaking Robin doesn't feel the same. I feel like they found such a gem in Eddie that they put so much work into Eddie, and they put so much work into the Eleven and Papa storyline and Vecna, that then they had a handful of characters that they genuinely just kind of, okay, we'll just kind of turn you into a comedic relief sideshow. Like, I think you can agree with me, Robin is borderline unbearable through all of season 4.
Yeah.
Like, it is really hard to watch Robin. And Mike, and Will, and Jonathan, and Argyle, and what the frick is Dustin even doing in season 4?
There's also the weird Mormon van.
That part was so random.
The polygamy van.
Wait, can anyone tell me what Dustin was doing in season 4? I'm having an actual. Oh yeah, he's
Eddie.
For Eddie. Okay, so this.
He's with Eddie.
That's
good. Dustin's with Eddie. So you mentioned this at the beginning, and I do think we need to bring this up before we get to season 5.
There's one big thing I need to talk about.
Jonathan Byers suffers the biggest character assassination I've ever seen.
There wasn't much of a character to begin
this season. But
it was less of an assassination, more just quietly smothering him with a pillow.
Yeah, they
a whimper.
made him a stoner, and he becomes a stoner for an unexplained reason. Like,
no, it's because he's a stoner IRL. I think also he got arrested for either a DUI or drugs, and that had to do with how they wrote him. They wrote him down. That's the out-of-world explanation, but...
we know you got arrested for drugs, so we're writing you as a drug addict.
Heavy drugs.
You'd think him becoming a stoner would have been like something that something would have motivated him to become a stoner and like turn to that kind of thing, but it just never like explains why, and it hardly touches on his need to be in a relationship or his need not to be in the relationship that he currently is in. it just doesn't do anything with him. And I'd argue even more than a Will or Mike, Jonathan just has no purpose in that plot line.
Mm-hmm. All right, it is time. I think we discuss outside of what I personally think is one of my favorite scenes in the whole show, which is the Master Puppet solo. I can't even believe how perfect it is. Like,
it's so
we
awesome.
sing Eddie's praises to the heavens, but I didn't run is one of the sweetest lines. And more than anything, I think they kind of, out of Duffer instinct, set up possible ways to bring him back. And they didn't do that. They showed the restraint not to do that, even after all the fan reception, which I really appreciate. But I want to specifically talk about someone who is, like Robin, different in every single season. And that is Max. I hate Max in season 2. I hate her even more in season 3. I could not care if she died in episode 1 of season 4. Like, going into that, I was just like, it's whatever. I think the Billy and Max stuff that we kind of talk about in season 3 should be more attributed to season 4. Yeah, because
definitely.
Now Billy's side is season 3, but Max in season 3 I don't think is handled very well. Whereas in season 4, just the fact this had the potential to possibly be the most tragic character moment. Someone that is dealing with just this horrible depression and also knows that she's going to die. And the fact that she writes all of these letters to everyone was so insanely powerful. And then the fact that their friends had this plan that ends up getting her killed, I think would have been huge. And if I was writing the show, I would have had in the end those the characters reading the letters that she wrote them as they mourned her death. Unfortunately, and it feels like the producers or something came in and said, hey, we need Max. They did not kill her, which it might be one of the worst, I think, decisions made in the entire show, is not killing Max.
I don't know. I don't know about that because it does.
It was
give
perfect. It was so
gives
perfect.
Another really great moment, I think, when Lucas just tosses the letter off and he's like, I don't need this because I know you're going to survive. Like, I really like that moment for him specifically.
Which would have made it a more poignant character moment if she did.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think it does work in that context too. Like, if Max had died and Lucas had tossed the letter away, he just gets to live with her memory instead.
Yeah. I agree with that. But just she cared about almost everyone, which is I mentioned this in season 2. I feel like she hates everyone in the team yet wants to join them for some reason. It's like a weird Deadpool thing. But then in this season, it's like, oh no, she cares about all of these people. In a sense, and I think it's so tragic what she goes through, and she was probably my favorite character of the main cast in this season.
Yeah, for me, it's Vecna and Max are my two favorite characters of season 4. Yeah. Max is fantastic.
Eddie and Hopper are right there, though. Eddie and Hopper. Eddie, dude.
Can I just say, season 4, and this is what I think is a very important thing before I move into season 5. I think season 4 is in some way soured a lot by season 5 for some important reasons, and this is it. This is the season I especially think the Duffers are really trying to reconcile what's happened in the last 3 seasons with what's about to happen in the next 2 seasons, and where you can see some of their planning not being as coherent.
Fun fact,
I can get behind that.
They did not write the script for season 5 until quite a while after season 4 was released.
And I'm mostly saying with season 4, mostly just because they introduced Vecna, which is an awesome character. And I hoped and I prayed that it wasn't going to have to do anything with the Mind Flayer. Because Vecna, unless I'm wrong, in season 4, Vecna functions, I think, pretty good as just a solo entity, as something that doesn't have to be tied to the Mind Flayer necessarily. But are we okay getting into season 5?
Okay, yeah.
Wait,
season 5 time.
Are there any other season 4 thoughts?
I don't think so.
Master of Puppets was epic.
So good.
I'll just leave off with this to transition. Season 4 and what it builds up at the climax left me at a spot where I was like, I do want to see what happens.
Oh my gosh!
I think it's a great. I think this is a great setup.
So cool.
Season 4 leads to what should have been a really good final.
The best of the seasons. I genuinely think season 5 could have been the best season.